right, yeah. Look. I know that intro is probably something that you weren't expecting. Maybe you weren't expecting anything. If you're like me, you just go into situations without any expectation, so you're not let down in the end. So why don't you just do that with this podcast? Anyway, this is Pod Caviar. I know, Pod Caviar is awesome. My name is Tony, or not having it, depending on if you know me from my Game Caviar days. Game Caviar, Google it. It's on YouTube. It's fly. You know, it's just me talking over a bunch of gameplay. I really don't do it that much right now. I could get back into it, but I'm really focusing on this right now. I am also the creator and owner and operator of Shirt Caviar, beautifully designed graphic t-shirts that you can buy for yourself, and they're all around $20, nothing extravagant. But you can go to shirtcaviar.com or search for that on Facebook. Just search for Shirt Caviar. Now, enough of the selfless plugs. Let's get down to business. I'm going to tell you a secret. There is no business. I don't have like a list of shit that I want to talk about. I'm just going to talk. And with this being the first episode, ideally, I want it to be like 30 minutes to an hour. Probably going to go with the hour portion if I have somebody on here with me. So most of the time, it's probably going to be like 30 minutes, like a commute to work or a workout. You could just listen to me ramble and ramble and ramble about everything. It doesn't matter. I don't have, I'm not going to say a filter, but I don't, there's like certain topics that are just boring as shit. And I don't think I want to talk about them, but it all comes down to whatever I feel like talking about. As you can hear my ice machine in the background. I'm sitting in the living room of my apartment. I don't necessarily have a high class studio, but the equipment that I use is pretty good. For instance, I'm using GarageBand on my MacBook Air. I haven't used GarageBand before, but this does remind me kind of like Sony Vegas, which I've used in the past when I was doing similar projects. And my microphone is a Blue Snowball, which is one of the best microphones I've ever used. It is so sensitive, though. So that's why I have the music playing in the background. Hopefully, it will help combat some of the background noise. And I've taken certain other measures to take care of the background noise. So let's see if it works. The thing is, like, I can hear myself now. I can hear myself talking. I have to go back after this, and I have to go through and edit it, and then isolate shit, and then edit it some more, and then, probably threaten myself to delete it because it'll sound like shit. But then, with me being my biggest critic, I think I nailed this one. Just because it took me a couple hours to set all this shit up. It wasn't just like, I'm gonna just set it up and then hopefully I hope for the best. No, I've been working on this for a while. It is literally 3:09 Eastern Standard Time on a Saturday night or Sunday morning if you're one of those time elitists out there. But yeah, this is just pretty much a good rundown of the show. Probably go over one topic, two topics, whatever. It's gonna be a once a week show, not a weekday show, because I like shit to build up, and then one day out of the week I just explode. So instead of me going crazy and then making the news for all the wrong reasons, I'd rather just explode in your eardrums. Ooh, that sounds sexy, didn't it? Baby, let me explode in your eardrum. No, I'm kidding. Let's see. One thing that I wanted to talk about is I have trouble going to sleep. And I know I'm not the only person in the world. So sometimes when I lay in bed and it's time for me to go to sleep, I don't. The other day, I was laying in bed and I wanted to know what's the difference taste-wise between chickens and roosters. There is a difference. You can eat either one of them. And one thing that I noticed or that I learned was that there is a different variations of chickens. There are chickens that are raised just to lay eggs, and there are chickens that we eat. And it depends. Like the taste is better when they're a certain age, and then it got really deep. Like I go to Google, and sometimes Google is very very cut and dry with the answers. Like yes, no, yes, no. What's 2 + 2? 4. Okay. What's 1 + 1? 2. Okay. But when I asked that question, it sent me down a rabbit hole of everything. And I do this all the time, normally when I'm bored or when I'm trying to do something or when I get distracted. If I go on YouTube, it's like, you click on one video, then you got to click on associated video. Associated is blah, 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 over and over and over and over and over. Okay, it happens. Everybody does it. I'm not the only one. But I do feel that I should share with you guys the fact that you can't, the chickens are so fucking complex. They're complex. There's a lot of things now. Actually, you know what? I think that life in general is complex, but with me being the age that I am, and I grew up in the 90s, things were way more complex back then. A lot of people say they want to go back to the 90s because things were simpler back then. No, they weren't. Nothing was simpler back then. We didn't have Google at first. I remember when Google came out. Internet was slow as shit. No Wi-Fi. If you wanted to research something, you had to go to the library. Yeah. And that sucked because at the time there wasn't we used the Dewey Decimal System, which is big ass filing cabinets of index cards that tell you where books are, and then you had to search. And it was very complex. The cell phones were like, before there were cell phones, you had landlines or your old rotary phone or cordless phones. And if you called somebody, like if I called you, you weren't home, then I'd just have to leave a message. And you weren't readily available. And I understand when people saying that maybe they want to go back to that. But I got a solution to that. Turn your fucking phone off. Leave it at home. Walk the fuck out of your door. You're grown. You're an adult. Get in your car and just drive the fuck off. Doesn't matter. Or you just put it on Do Not Disturb. Put it on silent. There's just certain things that I don't. For me, it was a pain in the ass growing up back then. Even when cell phones came out, they were big as shit, cumbersome. They weren't digital. They were analog. That means you could hear static in them, and just the calls were shitty. The Nokia phones though were very strong. They were pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, Nokia phones were cool as shit. There were no apps, so we just had Snake, and there was like another game that nobody played. I think it was 2 games, but yeah, still a pain in the ass. I'll take my iPhone, modern technology any day. I'll take Netflix. I'll take Amazon Video. Wi-Fi. What else? What else do we have? Laptops, MacBook Airs. Laptops were big as shit. Every part of technology back then was so fucking huge. It was so huge. And you didn't have like camera phones. If you take your cell phone right now and look at it, you got a camera, you have a video recorder, a music player, you have a storage device, and of course it's a telephone. So let's go back then. Even when cell phones came out, we had our little Nokia phones. That's the phone. It did not play music, so you needed a Walkman or a Discman. And then along with the Discman, you needed either tapes for Walkman or CDs for Discman or Discmans. Let's see. The Nokia phone did not have a camera on it, so if you wanted to take pictures of any fucking thing, you needed a camera, a big ass Polaroid camera, or a fucking disposable camera where you take it to CVS and you just drop it off like, I want my pictures, and they do that shit for you. What else was it? No GPS, so if you were on a road trip, you needed to have a map, and maps are big as shit. If you go find a map, first of all. If you can find a map, get a map, unfold that motherfucker, and it will cover a fucking table. It is like a tablecloth. It's big as shit. I swear to God. And it was so irritating to just needed to know where you had to go. Okay? You needed to know how to get there without unfolding a map and all that shit. You look like a fucking idiot today if you do that shit. I mean, seriously, nobody has maps. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's like some people with maps and shit, like, you know, but whatever. But I mean, it irritates the fuck out of me when somebody says, it's too much social media. I just wish I could go back to the fucking 90s. You know, it's just so much better back. No, it fucking wasn't, man. It was not. You ever see... It's very rare right now, but we used to get phone books. Like, we had a white pages, which was people and their address. That's like, if I needed to call fucking the Bob Tomfoolery from, you know, 325 Cherry Street, I can look him up in a white pages. Yellow pages was for businesses. Those books were big as shit. Okay. And I think you still get fucking yellow pages. I don't understand why. I mean, talk about a complete waste of material, but phone books were big as shit. Let's see. When we got the internet, it was slow as shit. So you think you can go on YouTube right now and watch videos all day? You weren't going to do that. I mean, when it was back in the day, and when you get on there, first of all, AOL was slow as shit. Your chat rooms and all that. If you got on Napster or whatever you used to use to, you know, allegedly download illegal shit, it would take all day. It literally, you would have to put it on the night before, go to bed, wake up the next day, and it still may or may not be done. It just was so, everything was just so slow. And really, once technology started booming, here's what I've noticed in the history of the world as far as technology is concerned. Like, it'll be stagnant, and then boom, you'll get like, oh shit, for real? We could put movies on these tapes and put them in something else called a VCR, and we could watch them at home? Fuck me running. No way. Shit won't get better than this. What? They got a big ass laser disc. The laser discs were like the size of fucking records and shit. You know, that was kind of before my time. I had like a VCR and VHS tapes, which is awesome. I mean, you know, they were pretty cool. But anyway, I grew up with the VHS tapes, and then you tape over some shit, and then you could tape over some shit, and then we had Blockbuster, which is like video warehouse. You know, you go in there, and then they charge you extra if you don't rewind the tapes, and then you weren't supposed to rewind the tape at your VCR, but you had to buy a tape rewinder, and then you put the tape in there, and you put it down, and they rewind it for you. It looked like a race car. It's really cool. You see where I'm going with this? Very fucking cumbersome. It is so... And VCRs were big as shit back then. I mean, those motherfuckers were huge. They weren't like, you can find a VCR, you may be able to find a VCR now, and they look very small, kind of like the size of like a PlayStation or Xbox One. Back then, they were like the size of luggage. I shit you not. And VCRs were big as fuck, loud motherfuckers too. I mean, will vibrate shit off the fucking mantle. I mean, everything was huge. TVs were huge. I remember seeing the first big screen TV, not flat screens that you have right here on the wall. Okay. I'm talking about big ass. You need about 4 or 5 motherfuckers to move that motherfucker. And once you got it in the house, guess where? Wherever it's at is where it's stand. Huge. God, I lost my train of thought. It irritates the fuck out of me just thinking back on all the shit that you had to do just to live. Just to live. This wasn't anything extra. Analog TVs with the fucking antennas on them. None of this digital shit. I had a TV that I hooked my Nintendo Entertainment System up to, and my Sega Genesis, my Super Nintendo. If you turn the knob on it too fast, it would automatically go to static, and the volume would shoot all the way to the max. Okay. The first time that shit happened to me, it was in the summertime. It was around midnight. Of course, I was a kid. House completely dark. I'm fucking turning the channel. All of a sudden, that motherfucker said, scared the shit out of me. I thought it was a ghost. I thought it was a fucking ghost. I thought it was a fucking poltergeist. And that's, and then the good thing is back then movies were a lot, they really scared the shit out of you. As far as horror movies go, you got Poltergeist. Let's see what else. What's the one with the God damn it, what is it called? With the girl with the fucking where her head was spinning around. The Exorcist, Nightmare on Elm Street, Hellraiser, all those fucking Puppet Master, all the fucking movies, scary as shit. My rule right now is if a movie comes out and it's like, oh, this is the new horror. This is coming this summer from director Wes Bumblefuck. This movie, based on a true story, rated PG-13. If it's a horror movie and it's rated PG-13, guess what? It's not a fucking horror movie. You don't know anything about ratings and movies. R-rated movies are kind of like, well, not kind of like, but they're like how a lot of adults and, a lot of people in general talk. I don't respect a horror movie that is not rated R. Here's why. Say I'm a fucking newlywed and I got my fucking newlywed wife and we're, riding around and I got an old pickup truck or some shit. And I'm like, well, it's time for us to take that next step. Like, you're pregnant and I got a job in a coal mine. We're going to be all right. Time for us to buy a house. And then all of a sudden, we see this nice house. Looks like a fixer-upper. No problem. Get the realtor's number. They're all extra excited. Oh, shit, for real? You want that house? Word? Oh, okay. All right. Well, shit. I ain't doing shit right now. Stay right where you're at. I'll come over there right now and show it to you. Hey, it's priced very favorably. All right. Cool. So I would hang up the payphone because back in the day we had to use payphones. But that I'll talk about that later. Anyway, let's say you buy the house, you're fixing it up. Like I'm in the basement, like sawing some shit, like manual labor, just sawing the fuck out of some wood, just sweating and shit. All of a sudden, boom, shit. Fuck was that? Door slams. Okay, cool. Maybe, wind shuts doors. Maybe the wife shut the door. Who knows? Let's say I walk up the stairs, try to open the door. It's locked. All of a sudden the lights go out. All of a sudden demons is in my face. All of a sudden I see the fucking pit of hell open up and Satan is grabbing at me and those demons are flying around. They're laughing at me and shit. I am not going to say, holy heck, this is too much. We got to get out of here. What in G Willikers is this? Oh my, am I in a dilly of a pickle? No, I'm going to be like, what the fuck is this shit? Get the fuck off of me, you fucking motherfuckers. I am not putting up with this shit. As soon as I get out of this motherfucking predicament that I'm in, I'm going to burn this house to the motherfucking ground. That's the difference between a horror movie that is rated PG-13, G Willikers, dilly of a pickle, and one that's rated R. Fuck you, fuck this, fuck all this shit. I'm fucking out of here. And I'm taking my bitch with me. And with that being said, I'm going to wrap this episode up. It's been 19 minutes. I have editing to do. And one of the things that I want to leave you with is fuck growing up in the 90s. It was fun, but it was such a pain in the ass. And I would much rather have all the technological advances that I currently have now. But I want to take the quality of movies from back then and bring them up here. Not saying all movies suck, because a lot of them are good, but I would rather have fuck this motherfucking house than, honey, we got to get out of here because those heckin' ghosts just won't leave us alone. With that being said, this has been Pod Caviar, episode number 1. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If not, somebody else will enjoy it. There's 7 billion people in the world. Like, somebody will love this shit. Anyway, I gotta go. Make sure you I need to work on my outros. Shark Caviar, Game Caviar on YouTube. Big shout out to Sports with a capital F, my man Graham over there. You can search for him on YouTube and Google and all that shit. He does real big things with his podcast. And that's it. If you want to shout out, you want to sponsor an episode, just hit me up. And then it's like $5, man. It's not that much. You got $5 in your couch, fam. $5 fucking, man. Just hit me up. I got the sponsors for the low. Anyway, I'm out.